Hello everyone. Happy Monday. Let's get started. So on Friday, we work on that like a set of queries on Friday. From Friday, there is one like query that I asked you to work on and upload. So we didn't have enough time. We'll start with that. I'll give you a few minutes to work on it and upload it, and then we move on to the next query. This week, anything that we wanted to cover and is going to be in the exam is covered. So there is nothing new here from this session moving forward. In the next 3 sessions from here to like Wednesday and Friday, we only do query design. So we'll go over the practices. Every time I'll try to give you some time. Please work on them. That's how you can identify if you like forgot something and if you want to review them, or like it helps you to kind of like get better at query design. So use the time to work on it, and then we will review every query together. So let's start with here. I'll like 5 minutes, please. This was the query that we were working on last session. I asked you to upload. So go over it, complete it if you haven't already. Once you complete it, either you can upload it here, like export it, or just upload the screenshot. But if you're uploading the screenshot, remember like make sure your name and like your ID is covered in the screenshot. Upload it for today's practice, or I mean submission, and then you can work. Just only one query. So for here, we only ask for query 6. Okay, so this was from last session. We don't want to spend much time on it because we have still other things. Is the equation for this one? Okay. Um, you can upload it by the end of the session. Let's move on to the next one. Okay. This question is asking you to create a query that calculates total commission earned by each agent. Assume agent earns 6% commission on each sales properties they sell. We talk about this every time we create a total query, or we want to know what is the query. Is it a total query or regular query? First, identify. Do we have a group? Are we doing for each group aggregation, summarizing the results? In this case, do we have a group here? For each agent, we want to calculate something. We want to see the total commission earned, right? So that tells me this is a total query. What is my group? The group is agent, and then calculation is going to be total earn. Total earn. So I'm going to go back to create the query. Okay, so we are working on that 6. You need to upload it yourself. I'm working on 7 right now. So what we are doing, calculate 6% commission on sales prices for each agent. So they earn commission for each listing that they've sold. In that case, I have the listing. And like for each listing, there is a sales agent. So I can add the sales agent here so that I can add their first name and last name. So first name and last name. Do I have the commission earned in each listing? I don't have it, but I have the sales price. So I can calculate it. I can create a new field to calculate how much they're earning on each listing. So click right, go to build. We are gonna like create a new field. I'll just name it as earned. I'll name it as earned and then colon. The commission they earn on the list that they sell is 6% of the sales price. 6% of the sales price. So 6% or 0.06 multiplied by the sales price. For the sales price, I can find it from the listing table. From the listing table, I'll find the sales price and I will add the sales price here. 6% of the sales price. That's how much they earned in each listing. They might have not earned anything because they haven't sold the house yet. That will be applied later. For now, we're just creating that formula that gives us like earning. List price multiplied by 0.06 to give us the 6%. Earned. And let me expand this so I can show you the formula. Oh, okay. So it was moved here. Okay, this is messed up. Okay. One thing before I run the query, in the criteria row, I will add 0 greater than 0 in the criteria row. So it only shows me the ones that there was a positive earning. Okay, so in the criteria row, that's where I add the the filters or like only show the ones that they earn is greater than 0. That way I can see in each listing, those that were sold, how much the agent earned. This is a regular query. It shows you records in the table, and it shows you information from each record. In this case, we only keep the first name, last name, and how much they earn. You can see, for example, here I have a Steve here. They've sold one property. That's the earn. The same person sold another property, and that's how much made. And like we can find the other ones as well. Again, here like 3 properties they've sold. This output is not an output for a total query. It shows you the list of like the records and like how much they earn. Now the next step here is the query is asking us for each agent, show us total commission earned. So basically what it is asking us to show us the result, the aggregation of these. Show me for each agent in total how much they earn. That means we have a total query, and I need to add the totals here. Add the totals here, and automatically it adds the group bys. It doesn't mean anything. It's the default value is group by. You have to decide which one is group by, which one is an aggregation, which one is something else. Like if you're using it as a filter, you have to specify it as where. In this case, for each agent, we are showing 2 things about each agent, first name and last name. So both of them should be group by. Group by agent, and show us total earned. Total earned is not, we are not using count here, right? We are adding them up. It's a monetary value, so we need to add them up. So here for the aggregation, we use sum to sum the earn. I will also sort the results based on the same column, so we can see the highest like at the top. So I will choose this in the sort row. That's where we select the sort, and then I will sort it to descending. One more step before we run the query again. If you create a new field and it's a monetary value, like in this case earned, this one is a monetary value, we need to change the format to currency. Change the format to currency. Click right, go to properties, and change the format to currency. Okay. Click right on the field, go to click on properties, and then go to property sheet and click on currency. Once you do that, then you will see only one record for each agent. Before we add the totals, we would see multiple. We saw some multiple records for the first agent, but now we are seeing the aggregation of it. That's the total query. Aggregates the results. And now we show for each agent how much in total they earn from selling the properties. Okay, so this is a total query. Sometimes you have multiple steps. You have to create a field and then use it in the total query. So make sure that like check the query, see, do you have this field? If not, do I need to create it? Like the one that you were working on. I didn't like in that question, okay, in that query, we don't have what is the number of days a listing was on the market. So first I needed to create a new field to say listed date, sales date minus listed date. Sales date minus listed date would give me the number of days the listing was on the market. And then let's say for each build year, if you look at the table, you'll have a build year. In the listing, at the end of the listing, there is a field called build year. That's the one that was using for group by. Group by build year, for each build year, show me average, minimum, maximum of number of days that like they were in the market. So the same way you create like multiple times, but each time you choose a different method for aggregation. So that was what this question was asking you to do. But pay attention, do you have that like number of days listed? That's a new field. We don't have number of days in the market. I have to use the current fields to create it and then use it. Okay. Okay. So this was, let me see if I have the screenshot here to just quickly review this. We had somewhere here. Is that, yes. Okay, so this was our query design. Just in case, let me just zoom it a little bit so you can see. Sometimes when you run the query, it changes the way that you created with an expression. It's okay. It just like updates the way, but you can look at the sum and see, yes, we use sum, and it like here it replaces it with expression and adds the function aggregation function to the formula itself. So you might see this, don't get confused. This is also correct as well. Group by agent, show me total earn. If like in this cases, anytime we are creating a new calculated field, you want to pay attention to the name of the field. So if I run this, this shows me earn, which could be like misleading. It doesn't show me now. This column is not the earn, it's the total earn for each agent. So it's better that I go back and update the name here. Here in the earned, I will update the name. Click right, go to build, and then in earned, I can change it to total earned. Yes, the formula was creating like earned, but then since we changed it to total query, I want to make sure that like this, the name shows up correctly. So I changed the name to total earn. So I changed the name to total earn. No, this one, yes, total earn. Okay, so here when it shows the column, it shows with the correct name for the column. It's clear now for each agent. What we are seeing is the total commission earned or total earned. Okay. This was our last like last slide from that presentation. Now, please take a minute to open the new data set that we are going to work on from Canvas. I've given you the starter file and also the set of questions. So download the starter file, open it, and you can also download the question file to see the set of queries that we are going to work on. If I can. Yeah. There should be for yeah, in today's module, there is I think there is a submission file. Let me double check this. Yeah, this should be like this is just upload it here. Yes. You can take a screenshot just like what you created. Take a screenshot and upload the screenshot. From the query design, just directly upload the screenshot. Only one of them. So one you can do, if it doesn't allow you to do it, just go to Access and upload the screenshot from Access directly. Don't use the website. please, that we go over so many queries, and we can just spend like a lot of time on each query. So you have to, for preparation for the midterm exam, you have to go over every query that we worked on. Like do it yourself again at home, and then check it with the solution. That's how you can like review the queries. I'll try to review the like multiple version of the queries in the like in this session, next session, and also on Friday. But again, you have to do that again after class to be prepared for the exam. But midterm exam queries are going to be very similar to everything that we do in class. So from every version of the ones that we've done in class, you might see one query. But generally, either 4 query or 5 queries in the midterm exam. So this data set we have is Melbourne housing. Like in the property, we have only 2 tables in this database. In the property listings, we have property ID, suburb, address, room, other info about like the property. And then also region ID, which indicates what like this property is linked to which region. In the region table, we have only like the region name. You have the region name. So we have about 8 regions, and then for so we have a set of properties belong to each region. Everyone ready? Yes. Okay. First step: create the relationship. Every time in a midterm exam, make sure to go to the database tools, relationships. In the relationships, create the relationships. We've done this before. So drag the tables and add the relationships. Region ID is a primary key in the regions table. In the listing, property listing is a foreign key. So I will drag a region ID here to region ID so I can create the relationship. Once you want to create a relationship, again, you need to check referential integrity. You need to check referential integrity and the other ones to create and also see that one-to-many relationship. If you don't see that one-to-many relationship in your relationship diagram, definitely you forgot to add those checks. So you have to go back and check them. Then we'll save this relationship. Let's see. Okay, this is the first query. You have about 5 minutes to work on the query, create the query, then we can move on and talk about it. The first query is this: create a query that shows total number of property listings for each suburb. The output table should show the suburb and the number of properties. If you have one table, you need Identify what is, but it's a total query. If it's a total query, what is the group by? What is the group that you're using as a group and says for each group, do this aggregation? What is the aggregation? What is the function that you're running for each query, for each group? In this case, it says for each suburb, we have like the property listings shows you each listing is set for like it is located in each suburb. It says now for each suburb, show me how many listings we have. So for each unique suburb, I have to count the records that have the same suburb. What is my group? My group is suburb. Based on the suburb, I'm going to aggregate the results, summarize the results, let's say for each suburb. And then I count the records in the listening table to see how many records I have for that suburb. We also talked about this last session. Anytime you're counting the records of a table, what field do you use for counting? What field do you use for counting? You're counting the records of a table. Very guess. The primary key of that table. So if you're counting the records in the listening table, you're using the primary key of that table as a field, and then the aggregation you're using to count them. You can use any of the columns on that table to count the records, but usually we use the primary key because it will never be null. It always has a value, and it's also like for each record in the table, there is a primary, like there is a key. So we use it to count the records in the table. So if I have a total query and I'm not like sure, like I've added the columns and I don't have a group by, or I don't have an aggregation, I haven't done the query correctly. Okay, that's the way that you can measure it. Do every query that is a total query has to have a group by, at least one field that is assigned to a group by, and one field for your aggregation. And also we want to make sure that we assign them correctly. So in this case, it says, and the keywords per, each, these are things that you will indicate. They're a good way to think about them, but that's not the only way that you can like say, okay, this is a total query. You have to find the aggregation too. So in this case, property listings for each suburb, right? Property ID, if I look at the property listings, the property ID is unique. Is the suburb unique? We could have multiple records in this table that have the same suburb. That's why we are trying to group them, so summarize the results. Whenever we use a group by, a field for a group by, we are looking for the ones that are limited number of groups, because we want to summarize them to give a better understanding of the result, instead of just like showing the results as a list, because this is a lot of records. We want to group the records into unique groups, limited number of groups. So a group like suburb is a good thing because it's a good field to group the results because it's limited. And there are many records that like basically many listings within the same suburb. So we'll give a good understanding of how many records we have from each suburb. I'll go back to the query. For each suburb, I need to add in the query design, I click on the total so I can add the total row. Once you add it shows you group by, but it's the default value. It doesn't know anything. So you have to change it if you need to, right? Later, you want to check, okay, am I using suburb as a way to group the results? Yes. Group by suburb. So that is correct. For each suburb, show me total number of listings. it doesn't tell me like what is the listing. I will use the listing ID or property ID. And I will use it to say, for each listing, show me how many records exist. Total number of listings. I don't add them. A common mistake is like, we don't forget, we shouldn't do that with like here. You're using count. Another thing that you should remember is that you will never use sum on primary key. Why? Primary key is a unique identifier for each record in the table. It's a random number. If you add them up, the result is meaningless. So anytime you have a primary key, like property ID or like any other like keys that you have, and you see like you've added some here, you should say, okay, I'm wrong here, because this is unique for every record in the table. I cannot add them up. The only way that I can use them is only with count. Means that use them and count the records in the table. And I will sort it based on the same like total number of listings. So when I run it, I can see for each suburb, there's one unique row, or like one row for each suburb. Now I can see a summarized version of that table. So that shows me the suburb and total number of listings that we have from that suburb. Okay, question. One thing again I will do here, like you see, when I run this, it automatically assigns a name for that column, but I can assign a better name, more informative name. So here I will go back, click on like build, or can also type it here. Before build, before the field name. Before the field name, type the name that you want to assign. I will say total listing, and then add a column between them. Add the column. So basically your query will look like this. So total properties or total listings, column, and the property ID. And group by suburb, count property IDs. So you can tell me, like in this table, how many records, how many listings I have for each suburb. Any question? If you don't have any question, let's move on to the second query. The second query. Okay. Create a query that shows total number of listings for each year. The output should show the display. If you have forgotten this, remember, look at the fields and see if you have that like field, like for example, for each year, do you have a year? You don't have a year, but we have a list year, list date, which we can use to extract year from, extract months from. And we also talked about two functions, format function, and also like year and months function to extract a part of a date. If you're using this, then you should type the field name, like you should add the field name. Is this a total query? If it's a total query, what is your group and what is your aggregation? Think about it, and then based on that, get the query. Are you waiting for me or you're working on the query? That's what do I have here? I have a listing date. I don't have the year. So for each year, total number of listings, that tells me this is the total query. I have a group. Group is for each year. Group them, all the records, all the listings for each year. And for each year, show me total number of listings. How many listings I have in each year. So first, I need to create a field. Okay. It shows me the year they were listed. So I will name it year. I will use the format function. So format, type just year, colon, and then format inside the parentheses. First, I need to add the field name from property listings, listing date. I have the listing date. Double click to add the date, and then comma, and then specify what part you want to extract from that form, like that date. Add comma, and inside double quotation, I will type for Y so that it gives us the year. Okay. If I run it right away, just with that column, you see how many records I have as much as the number of listings in the listing table. For each listing, instead of the list day, like now, I see the list year. But I want to now create a summary, create a total query, click on totals and say group by each year. For each year, show me total number of listings. That's when we use, again, we want to count the number of records for each listing year. So again, we use the like primary key here, property ID. Is it a group by? No, that's the one that we are using for aggregation. So instead of group by, we are counting the records. We're counting the records for each year. Count the records, so show me total number of properties in each year. I can sort the results based on the total number of properties, and also assign a name here. Okay, so just before this, I'll go to build, and just before the field, type total of total properties. Total properties colon and then property ID that we use Okay, for each year, total number of listings. This is what the total query is supposed to do. Like find fields that they can create like a limited number of groups and then show a result for those groups. In this case, for each year, we are looking for total number of properties. We need to look at the property table, listing property, and see like you see here. So it looks at and counts how many records we have with the same 2017 and then the same way for 2016. In the output table, we have only one record. We have only one record for each year. Question. Okay. Great. Next question. So this was what we created now. And next one. Create a query that shows total number of property listings for each month in 2016. Again, remember that these are the ones that we use. Okay, so field name. I want to remind you, if you're using if you use the format for months, it will return the month's name, September, October, December. If you use months function, it will return the number of the month. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the difference between them. Yes. Exact values should remind you that those are those are the ones you place them in the criteria row. Exact values like 2016. That's an exact value. Like Okay. So, let's go back. For each listing, we don't have the months, so we have to create months, right? I will create a new field. I will name it months. I'll use the format function. First, select the field. Oh, tables, proper listing date. Add comma inside double quotation for M's. Okay. That way we can create a new field for months. Now, separately, you need to create for each month. Even we can do this for each month. Okay. For each month, you want total number of listings. So again, property ID. So group by month, and then count total number of properties. Right? Show me total number of properties. For each month. That's why I have the group by each month, count total number of properties, so count property ID, so it can give me total number of properties. That's good, but it says for the properties in 2016. I still need to filter the results for 2016. I don't have the year, so again, I need to create a new field. This time it's the year. Add a colon. I can use the year function this time. Year function or format function. If you're using format function inside double quotation, you're putting 4Ys. If you're using the year function inside the year parentheses, again, type like select the field itself. So property listing date. Year parentheses, and inside the parentheses, the field, and then close the parentheses. Now, once I add it, is it like the one that I'm like using for group by? I'm not saying for each year I want to see this. I'm saying for each month, total number of listings where the listing was in 2016. So this one is criteria, the year, only we are looking for the ones that placed in 2016. That's the criteria row. You specify in the criteria row for filtering the results like for 2016. Again, now let's check. Group by month, count total properties. What is this one? What is year? How do I double check to make sure which one is that? In the output table, the query says, in the output table, show listing months and the number of properties. Two of them. So that also gives me an idea. This is not a group by. This is only, I'm using it for filtering the results. So it should be set to where? Where property ID. So basically, this is the query that we created. I'm like instead of indifferent. For year, it's only like where is 2016 group by months, count total number of properties. Okay, so go over each one of these queries again and like try to review them. Once you specify something as where, it shows automatically hides them. Thank you. We'll continue this next session from here and like go over the next question. I'll see you on Wednesday. Thank you. No, if you uploaded it, I'll use that for attendance. So just make sure to upload that file. Yes. Just a screenshot, just a screenshot.